Hello, my name is Kate Jones, and I'm here to do my case study for EDL 959 about introducing a digital literacy curriculum and some of the challenges involved. So the way that to define the problem would be Kim, the assistant principal, wants to implement a technology-driven curriculum. She wants to promote the future success of the building. As of right now, the curriculum uses little technology, really just first level technology. And she knows that staff buy-in will be a struggle as the staff kind of reverts back to um, basic use of technology and lecture-based learning most of the time. She also knows that promoting change will prove difficult in the school because the school there isn't a lot of parent involvement and the students aren't very motivated. And the students are currently learning at a deficit. So the teachers are more worried about kind of catching them up rather than giving them new information, new knowledge. A couple of things that were not mentioned that I think are important to consider is how do we inspire the parents and the community to be more involved? How are we going to address the below average test scores? Um, Specifically when it comes to short answers and essay questions. If the students are just skipping these type of questions, how do we work within the curriculum to inspire them to try harder on that, or how do we practice that in the classroom? And how do we address the fact that the planned curriculum is just not working for all the students? Overall, we're looking at a culturally responsive new curriculum, right? So this digital literacy curriculum would be more culturally responsive, would be more personalized, and there would be assessments designed to show growth. It would utilize the current data systems used by the district, and these data systems would also store assessment data and be easier to report moving forward. In addition, Kim would be able to evaluate this data in order to recognize some of the ways to address the issues. So, for example, clearly she analyzed the data when she noticed that short answer questions weren't being answered or that they were being skipped, or when it was that type of question, students would rather take the zero, right? So she's already looking at this data in order to attempt to address it. And the system that she developed is great, right? This idea of having a more technologically rich system would definitely better prepare students for assessment. Um, Kim is trying to promote the success of students by moving in a direction that is more culturally responsive and modern. She's committed to promoting change, but she's likely to get pushback. The new system seems to have a higher expectation placed on students and staff. So, this is a major cultural change and is going to take a lot of work on every end. Some of the things to consider that I didn't know if they were addressed. Will this plan work well for students with disabilities? The text does mention that there are a bunch of integrated classes. How is this going to help those students? Do all students have a device to work with? 65% of the student body is able to get free or reduced lunch. Do they have the devices, and do they have internet access at home? With the assumption that most will. However, she still needs to address that for extreme situations. Overall, though, she is promoting the well-being of the school community by strengthening student learning and supporting school improvement. And there aren't a whole lot of legal or ethical issues that I saw there, but I do think that she has to consider the students who are low income to ensure that they have a device to work with. So, in one quick little sentence, Kim wishes to make big changes to her school's curriculum in order to more effectively promote learning, but will likely have pushback from staff and students. Kim kind of sees herself as this change agent. She is someone who's going to come in and make big changes. However, she's also someone who tends to do things on her own, and I'm not sure that that's the best way for to make this type of change. I think she's going to have to reconsider how she's going to do that. So, a couple of things that were missing or questions that I had when I was reading this. Principal. They don't mention the principal at all. Kim's an AP. So how does the principal feel about the changes? Is the principal helping Kim along? Does the principal support this? Or is the principal like, yeah, man, we're just going to keep rolling with what we got because it's going to be too hard to change this? So we need to know how the principal is going to feel about all this. We need them. We need that guy or girl on board. Parents. How can we get more parents involved, and will they react positively to the change? How does the curriculum hope to inspire students to care more about their learning, right? One of the big problems that we have is these students are skipping questions. They don't really care if they get the zero. They're getting below average test scores. So how can we ensure that the students care more about those grades? As to where the location is, how can curriculum changes further increase community and parental involvement? And are there ways to get the community better involved in the curriculum changes? And for the program, what technology is currently available? I feel like that's a big thing to consider. Is there already a one-to-one program? Because if they're going to be a technologically rich program in an urban area, you need to ensure that you are providing a device for every student. Also, how does the curriculum help to respond to the current weaknesses? And how will the curriculum address non-academic skills? This is something that in the past presentations we've been looking at, I've been kind of harping on. I love the inclusion of non-academic skills within the curriculum. So how can we ensure that Kim is addressing those skills on top of being a technologically rich curriculum? Okay, so if we are clarifying and prioritizing the problem, Kim is the AP of Triscup Middle School. She wants to rework the curriculum, make it more technologically rich and culturally relevant. However, school is suffering from low parent involvement, low test scores, and only substitution level technology use in the classroom. Kim is looking to make second level change. Big change. This is a major culture shift. And whenever there's going to be a major culture shift, there needs to be good planning involved. Otherwise, you are going to get pushback. Teachers who have to change too much too fast are unlikely to respond well because they already have so much on their plates. The other big problem is Kim has a tendency to do things she thinks is right without consulting others, and that is something that she needs to break. So, uh, with that in mind, and with it in mind that there needs to be changes, I've come up with these goals that I think would work well for Kim. So she needs to work collaboratively with the faculty to create an action plan for the rollout of a technologically rich and culturally relevant curriculum. So the reason why I decided collaboration was the best way here is because if you get enough teachers on board with this vision, they'll be able to help with the others. It can't be a top down decision when you're doing a major cultural shift. And really, that's what we have happening here. One of the things that the group would be able to work on would be professional development, modeling, walkthroughs, low stakes observations, right? Because one of the problems that were mentioned is that people wind up reverting back to doing things the old way after professional developments. The only way to stop that is to be visible within the building. The only way to stop that is to actively help the teachers who are struggling in these areas. So I think that with the professional development, you also need modeling, walkthroughs, and low stakes observations. People can't feel like their careers depend on these observations. Instead, go in, give them the positive reinforcement and the help that they need, as opposed to, telling them where they need to change everything. In addition, they need to do a rollout. This cannot all happen at once. This group cannot make a plan and be like, okay, have fun. Instead, consider introducing something monthly. So first, how can we bring ed tech tools into our curriculum? Uh, After that, how can we include non-academic skills, right? So you keep the ed tech tools in, but now you add non-academic skills. From there, teaching critical thinking and reflection. How can we bring this into the classroom in a way that does not completely shift what you're doing, but instead is kind of natural? And the objective here, connected to our standard, is that the school leader will promote the well being of the school community by collaboratively developing a new school curriculum. The second goal is all about the technology and ensuring that there's proper funding and building capacity to support this type of curriculum. You can't have a technologically rich curriculum without a building that can handle a whole lot of the use of a whole lot of technology. So making sure that the school has proper wiring and technology support, one-to-one device programs, making sure that the students have Wi-Fi at home, and also having professional development in the use of the technology. All right. And the objective here is that the school leader will evaluate the technological and professional needs of the school. Next has to do with working with the actual curriculum and with the committee. So Kim and the committee will develop culturally responsive assessments with measurements that ensure the proper teaching and learning of academic and non-academic skills. Throughout this course, we've seen the importance of having prepared rubrics or measurements to help with student learning. So in this situation, the committee can start creating assessments and rubrics as a starting point and to set an example for the other faculty members. They don't need to decide everything, but at least, like I said before, model what works and what doesn't. The committee can embed technologically rich resources into those assessments and rubrics or into the lessons. And again, the committee will model this type of planning with the objective being develop technologically and culturally rich assessments meant to improve student learning. The whole goal here is to get the students to average or above average and to stop kind of hanging out in that below average area. The last part really focuses on the cultural relevance of the curriculum. Kim needs to build relationships with the parents and the community by including them in the revision process. So as of right now, the parents and the community are outsiders. They're not really involved in the school. So something that Kim can do early on in this process is sending out a survey to parents to attempt to make connections to home culture, to try to make the assessments a little bit more culturally relevant. Once that's done, invite parents and community members into the process, host a presentation to explain the importance of the changes, and include assessments that involve student choice, community service, or culturally relevant information. And again, this comes down to collaboration. This is not a top-down decision. And when you are collaborating with the community and with the parents, they are more likely to be involved in the school moving forward. So a couple of the things that I considered as pros and cons of this plan. The big pro is that it does fully address the standard, right? It is collaborative, it is evaluative, it likely will benefit the entire school community. Um, in the long term, it will improve technological literacy and test scores. And the shift to student-centered and culturally relevant learning will likely engage students in the community more. Still, it may take some time to see some changes in the data, and that could be a con here. It will take longer to roll out if we're doing this the right way. Just by my thinking, I think it would take 2 to 3 years to really be completely effective. And some teachers are still likely to revert back to their old methods. Some people are very quick to reject this. I'm confident of that. I've seen that in buildings where I've worked. Some teachers will revert back to their old methods. So it's going to be difficult no matter what. In order to make this work, though, the most important thing for Kim to do first is create the committee that will be able to compromise on some of these changes. Reaching out to the community, being flexible. We know that Kim likes to be, a change agent. However, she cannot be the only say on it. Otherwise, it's going to be quickly rejected. From that, you need to create the plan, some sort of action plan or school improvement plan with specific measurable goals to be met over a specific period of time. And also be an active participant in the change process, right? Kim needs to be going to the classrooms, modeling lessons, helping where needed, right? And as we're implementing this change, meeting with the community members, explaining the need, creating the improvement plan, presenting it to the faculty, meeting with the community to get their input, creating goals and standards, making sure teachers are aware that there will be and students are aware that there will be a learning curve. So knowing that this isn't going to be perfect right away and that administration isn't expecting perfection, they're just expecting people to make an effort. Um, do walkthroughs to assess the use of new assessment methods, what's working, what isn't working, and then make sure staff knows that the committee will help to guide them, right? You need to be a comfort to the staff who are worried about these extreme changes. So overall, the final statement on this is that the plan outlined in this presentation is a coherent and logical plan made to address the specific problem of making a massive cultural and systemic change in Triscuit Middle School. All right. The plan promotes the well-being of the students and faculty by planning for future success of the institution and the individual students. And the committee will evaluate, develop, and implement technology-rich, culturally responsive academic and non-academic student programs and curricula. The plan encourages collaboration between the school leadership, faculty, staff, students, and community in order to provide a more equitable and student-centered learning environment. I hope you liked the plan. I hope that my feelings on it came through well, and I'm looking forward to working with many of you in the future. Thanks.